Hi. Okay. So now in this part of the video, we are going to start recording. Sorry, we're going to start filling up our data set or handling the missing values. Yeah. Sorry, we're going to start handling the missing values. Then handling missing values. Okay. So how do we know whether the data set has got missing values? So we need to explore a bit. Yeah. Do some exploratory data analysis. So in order to do that, what we can do is we can use some of the pandas built-in functions and methods and properties. Okay, so the first one that we're going to use is actually pandas, which is we're going to use a shape function which is called df dot shape. Sorry, this shape is not a function; it's a property. Yeah, so df dot shape. Now this will return back the shape of our data frame that we read from here. What does shape actually mean? It's actually meaning the number of rows and the number of columns, yeah? Okay, so that we actually understand how big is our data set. And within that, since we have a certain number of columns, this will also tell us how many columns have got null values or missing values. So that's our interest, right? So how do we find that out? We take df.info, okay, and this is actually a method, yeah? So we need to put the parentheses here. We are making a function call, or yeah, we're making a function call here, .info, and this will tell us information about all the columns that we have found. Okay, so now let's run the code again. Yeah, we're printing three things here. After we load the data, we're printing the data itself, the shape of the data, and information about the columns. Okay, so let's click the play button, and it's now running. Let's run finish. So at the top is the data frame. Yeah, there's a lot of data thrown here. Now here we have the shape, the number of rows and the columns. When you print df, they also give you the number of rows and columns. Yeah, but shape is one sure way to look at it. Just in case you can't run df, you can run dot shape. Yeah. So there are 34,923 rows and there are 10 columns. Okay, so for these 10 columns that I found here, I want to understand what are the columns. So when we did df.info here, when we did df.info, this function here, or this method, what happened was it printed out a lot of information about the columns here. Okay, so now these columns, there are 10 columns here, they're telling us, total of 10 columns. The first column's name is beach name, the second column is measurement timestamp, the third column is water temperature, and so on. Yeah. Now we can see that there are 34,923 beach names that are not null. Yeah. There are 34,923 beach names that are not null, which matches with the data set, which is good. Yeah. Now when we look at measurement timestamp, there are some missing values here because there is not 34,923. It's 34,917. So there are like 5 points or 5 data sets that are actually empty. Yeah, there are 5 data sets that are actually empty. So we know that there are missing values here for sure. So this is how we can infer that there are missing values on the data set. Okay, and we have missing water temperature as well. There are 5 data sets that are empty. Turbidity, there are 5 data sets that are empty. Transducer depth is apparently the worst, where we don't have a lot of reading on transducer depth. Okay, and wave height, we have missing data. Wave period, we have missing data. We have missing data. We have missing data. Measurement ID, there is no missing data because it is the same as the total number of rows. Okay, so now how do we handle this missing data? One way is we can fill the missing data. Okay, we can fill the missing data such that we can do this. In the df, let's say I want to fill the missing data of water temperature. Yeah, water temperature. Okay, so I can say that in this data frame, I want to access this column. Now the way we access a column is by the square brackets. Yeah, so we have a square brackets here such that we can access the column, and then we'll surround the column name with quotes, and I'm going to copy this column name here, water temperature, Control C. I'm going to go here, Control V. Yeah, so then I get the column water temperature. This way, even though my data frame got 10 columns, I'm accessing the water temperature column this way. Okay, by using square brackets and passing the label of the column. Now, for that column, there are 34,917 non-null. Yeah, that means I think there are 5 nulls, right? Because 17 plus 5 is 23, right? So there are 5 nulls. So I want to fill them up. So I got this dot fill NA method. Yeah, now dot fill NA actually helps us fill up missing values. This is the method that will help us fill up NA values. Yeah, NA or null. Yeah, in pandas, all the nulls are treated as not available. Yeah, NA. Okay, so what we do next is, since it's a method or a function, therefore we need to call it. And then what's the value we want to pass to the nulls? I'm going to put a 0 to all of them first. Okay, so that means all the missing values will be filled up with zeros. And next, I want to make sure that I modify this data frame. Therefore, I need to use this parameter, which is in place is equals to true, which is similar to your earlier example, such that the modification actually takes place. If I do not do this, my modification will not be saved. Yeah. Okay, so therefore I need to write in place equals to true. Yeah. So now if I was to print the df.info, I expect to see 34,923 non-null water temperatures. Yeah. So let's see that. Okay, let's run that. Yeah. So it's running. Yeah, and then you can see now water temperatures. Yeah. You see all the water temperatures are filled up, and the missing values are taken care of by filling them up with zeros. Okay, so now let's see the effects. I'm just curious. If I take this in place away, right, that means my changes will not be saved on the data frame. So if I was to run this again, I'm printing the data frame here out. You see that even though I ran this fill NA, the changes were not saved onto the data frame. So therefore, you require this in place equals to true. Okay, so that's one way in which we can handle missing values by filling it up. In the next part of the next video, we will look at a case where we want to drop the missing values.